So as you take a seat for settling in, you can let the sort of like airplane of your mind land, come down to the ground. And there are different ways to do that. One may be to use your breath to help with the transition. You could imagine the inhale as a time to say yes to your vitality. And the exhale as a time to let go of whatever would be a distraction during your practice. Another way to help your airplane to land is to feel your seat and your feet on the ground. You can also use the mental practice of confirming or affirming, like confirming for yourself that you actually got here, and this demonstrates your life skills, your commitment, your dedication. And affirming for yourself that you have had a practice, you're taking refuge in your practice, and you will continue having a practice. And maybe you do all three of those things: the breath, the sensations of being connected to the ground, and the confirmation and the affirmation. So your breath, your body, and your mind all arrive here together. And bring your hands to your heart. So every day we need our yoga practice as nourishment for ourselves, to have the well-being, just enough wellness that we can do our duties within the world, within our communities, in our relationships, and in relationship with ourselves. So with respect for this as our shared intention, we'll start with Sahana Vavatu, and let's begin. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart and release your hands. Open your eyes. We're going to begin with some pranayama. Let me scoot back a little bit. So we've been practicing this process that gets you ready for a pranayama that some of you had questions about. We're going to continue with that getting ready process. Let me see if I can move out of this light beam a little bit. I don't know if I'm able to do it. No, let's try that. There we go. Okay. It's better for my eyes if I'm not sitting in the direct because of my concussion. So we'll be a little off kilter today, and that's going to be fine. You'll have your eyes closed. So the pranayama that we're working on building into is a kind of Kapalabhati where we go back and forth, left, right, left, right. It's considered a kriya. It's cleansing. And this time of year, it's really important that we take care of our sinuses. We're in a seasonal transition when we go from pitta to vata. We'll have another one from vata to kapha. So we cleanse the sinuses, and then you can oiliate is the word. You can put oil in the sinuses, sesame oil, to keep them moisturized. So you're giving yourself a good defense against like sinus infections or excess congestion in the sinuses. We're also doing this practice because it helps to nourish the sixth chakra, this particular sequence. And I'm hoping that we can all have clear vision, that we need to see things clearly. So sitting upright, we'll do 5 very strong exhales, and you can place your hand on your solar plexus if you want the confirmation that your exhale is coming from here. So 5 powerful exhales, then we'll inhale to suspend, and then I'll talk you through what's next. So starting here. Just take a little sip of an inhale. Inhale both nostrils. At the top of the inhale, suspend the breath. So lift and brighten your chest and heart. Bring your chin in and down towards your throat, and snug the low belly in and up. And that contributes to a more expansive place in the chest and heart with tone in Uddiyana, Mulabandha, and Jalandhara Bandha. Release the bandhas and exhale through both nostrils slowly and completely. And then rest a moment. Now we're going to repeat that and we're going to add to it. Let's begin. Inhale both nostrils up to suspension. Exhale both nostrils, smooth, strong, slow, steady. At the bottom of the exhale, pause a moment, then inhale through both nostrils, back up to your suspension. Close the right nostril, exhale left side. Inhale both nostrils up to suspension. Close the left, exhale right. Inhale both nostrils up to suspension. Release the bandhas. Exhale through both nostrils all the way to the end. And then deeply relax. Now, to give some extra cleansing to the sinuses and a strong exhale, place your hands on your shoulders. We're going to go side to side, exhaling out through the nose. Let's begin. Come to center, exhale completely. Inhale through both nostrils, come up to suspension. Close the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Suspension. Close the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Suspending again. Exhale through both nostrils. Deeply relax. You might see if it's natural for your eyes to rest near the third eye, to sort of gaze in that direction. And now we'll do Kapalabhati, left, right, left, right, left, right. Again, you can start, as I said the last few days, you might do 5 on the left, 5 on the right, 4, 4, 3, 3, until you get down to 1, 1, 1. Okay, so we'll begin, and you do the choice that is helpful for you in learning the process. Exhale completely through both nostrils. Inhale to suspension. Exhale, left nostril. Inhale, left. Suspend. Close the left. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Exhale, both nostrils. Listen for the possibility of a sense of clarity at the sixth chakra. This may be spontaneous and you don't have to coerce it. And if it's not happening, you just relax. Your journey is your own. Thank you for this time in pranayama. We're going to transition to standing. Let me see how I can see my computer to get my other camera up. Here we go. And the kittens are still resting. In spite of the alternate nostril breathing, they are still resting. When you come to standing, because of where we have just been, I'd like you to take a wide stance and come down to your Prasarita Padottanasana and determine for yourself how many blocks will you need on the floor to support your head when you come down. And I do want you to feel like the blocks are the right height for your head to touch. Not that you're falling down to the blocks, but the blocks rise up to meet you. Now, with your head lower than your heart, and hopefully the sinuses are clear, I'd like you to come into a really subtle Ujjayi breath. And try to sense the air moving into the upper back of the sinuses. This is at the upper part of the throat, where the sinuses and the throat meet. And let's use that as a place for your inner gaze, your mind, and your breath to all be in one location together. So you have the possibility of feeling this as a subtle and natural quality. That's called sahaj, when something is natural. You also have the option of cultivating it to become more natural. So about 4 more breath cycles, please. Now bring your fingertips under your shoulders, straighten both arms. Turn your right foot slightly out, bend your right knee deeply, and come down and back so that when you come down, your knee is not coming forward. It's more that you're sitting backwards into your right hip and your right heel. Depending on your particular flexibility and your body proportions, you might put your left elbow on your block or on a couple blocks, or you might also place it on the floor. Again, use the Ujjayi breath to sense that place in the upper back of the sinuses. Your mind, your breath, and even your eyes can all sense themselves to be in one location together. This is a single pointed concentration, and it's a specific place in your body related to not just the sinuses, but really related to the pineal gland and the sixth chakra. Rise up on your fingertips, please. Pick up your left heel and pivot so that you are in your basic lunge facing to the right. This basic lunge from the sun salutation. Now lengthen your left leg, lengthen and strengthen it. As you exhale, touch your left knee lightly down. It's like the beginning of Anjaneyasana. As you inhale, lengthen and strengthen your left leg. As you exhale, lightly touch down. As you inhale, lengthen and strengthen your left leg. So what you might notice is that the right hip is experiencing compression. We're talking about that this week in class. When you go down to Anjaneyasana, the right knee is more compressed, more closed. So is your ankle. When you straighten your left leg, you reduce some of the compression for your ankle and your knee, but it's the same for your hip. Let's do it twice more. Exhale, touch down. Inhale, lengthen and strengthen. And then last one. And breathing in. Now rotate back towards Prasarita Padottanasana where you began. Place your hands on your hips and rise up to standing. And see if you can sense in the subtle body what's going to go down. Circulation is less dense than the muscles and bones, so sense the circulation going down your right leg, into your right heel, your right toes. There's a whole process of aliveness in the leg right there. Okay, second side. So come briefly forward to Prasarita like this. Turn your left toes out. Bend your left knee. And we're going to go back and down. You may be someone whose right elbow comes to the floor, or you can use a block to put your elbow on. And as you come back and down with the hips, really consider your body knows the structure of the pose well enough. So place your mind, your eyes, and your breath in the upper back part of the sinuses. So this is close to the roof of the mouth, the upper back of the throat, and where the sinuses all kind of meet back there. And you can sense the passage of the air in this part of the body. Make it smooth so the sound is also comforting or soothing to your mind. And rise up to your fingertips, pivot your right heel up, turn to face into your basic lunge on the left leg forward, right leg back. And let's exhale, right knee down. Inhale, lengthen and strengthen your right leg. And exhale, lightly touch down. Inhale, lengthen and strengthen. As you continue about 3 times more, you can notice the compression for your left hip, your left knee. The left ankle is less compressed than your hip and your knee, but when you come down to Anjaneyasana, there is a gentle closure to the ankle, not a complete closure. So one more time, exhale to touch down. And inhale, lengthen and strengthen your right leg. And then pivot back to Prasarita Padottanasana. Place your hands on your hips, rise up to standing, and pause to sense what's happening down your left leg. Listen for warmth, or sometimes I call it effervescence, a kind of tingle. And it's bi-directional, not just down to your foot, but also coming back up from your foot. And now we're going to bring the heels and toes in, and let's step to the front of the mat for Surya Namaskar. We're going to use Anjaneyasana this afternoon. And so I'd like you to have 2 blocks. Let me just arrange my mat so I won't go off the screen if possible. So place your feet in mountain pose. I didn't quite get it. There we go. Okay, palms together in mountain pose. When you come to mountain pose, just take a moment to sense the plumb line that you stand in. So musculoskeletally, if you press your toes down and activate your arches, just in front of your heels at the back of your arches is the bottom of your physical plumb line. And that plumb line you can imagine coming up through your calves and shins, up through the center of the thigh bones. And you'd want the pelvis to be centered. So neither the pubic bone nor the tailbone are heavier, but a sense of balancing the pelvic floor. And then up the front line of your spine, up to the roof of the mouth, the upper palate, and then up to the crown of the skull. That's your physical plumb line. But you can also then just check the subtle plumb line, which you might think of as the chakras on the pathway called the central channel. So using the Ujjayi sound will help to keep your mind immersed in like this river of energy, and that the inner ears are hearing the sound means hopefully the mental noise is abated. So inhale, now raise your hands, arms, and your gaze and your heart. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, energize your legs so when you come forward to Uttanasana, you bow over a very stable foundation. Inhale, glide forward through your heart. Exhale, left toes back. Keep your left leg strong. Root your right heel. Inhale to rise. Exhale, take the arms wide out to the side. Palms face down, so you're balancing. Now we're going to have activation. I don't know what happened there. It must have been like a little kitten nightmare. Okay, when you exhale, you're going to touch the left knee down to Anjaneyasana. So let's inhale, lift the torso, and then exhale, lightly touch down. Good. Inhale to go up. Okay, exhale, arms wide, palms face down. Inhale, rise up. Good. Exhale, lower down. Nice. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, arms wide, palms face down. Remember your plumb line in the center of the spine. Inhale, rise up. One more time. Exhale, touch down. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms wide, palms face down, and back to the blocks. I don't know what happened to you. Nobody touched you. Nothing bad was happening. No. Downward dog pose, please. Now exhale, left foot forward. Yeah. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Now arms wide, palms face down. So steady yourself. And then with your exhale, touch your right knee lightly down. Good. Inhale to go up. Exhale, arms wide, palms face down. Remember your plumb line. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, down. Good. And then inhale, raise your arms, lift your heart. Exhale, arms wide, palms face down. And one more time, inhale to rise. And exhale to descend. Nice job. Good. And last one to go up in Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, arms wide and palms face down. Place your hands on the blocks and step backwards, please. Downward facing dog pose. And inhale forward to plank. Now in plank pose, keep both arms very stable and strong. Gaze down, but have your gaze be inward towards the upper back of the throat and the sinuses. And then exhale, just lightly touch your knees down like little dragonflies on the surface of the water. And then inhale, take them back up to plank. Exhale, lightly touch down. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lightly down. Inhale, plank. Last one, exhale, lightly down. Inhale, plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog pose. And step your awkward foot forward first, then your second foot forward. Come to Uttanasana. And inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. And then hands to the heart. And try to sense your plumb line again when you get here. Not intellectually or mentally, but sense it. So if you close your eyes and don't use lots of muscle tone, you'll stay upright, but there might be a slight sway around an inner feeling of stillness. And let's take a seat, please, with one or two blankets. don't know what happened for the kitten. One kitten is now comforting the other, so all is well. And we're going to take a seat in the pose called Upavista Konasana. So if you take a wide seat like this and you decide how high up do you need to sit in order to come forward comfortably. For some of us, like for myself, sitting up on something actually isn't as indicated. So I'm going to move most of my blanket support out and sit on just the very slim edge of the blanket under the back of my sitting bones. And then please come forward to Prasarita Padottanasana, and you can place a block or two or three or four to be there for your forehead. Now, when you set yourself up for this pose and you're down and doing your process of breathing, try to sense the plumb line if it's come with you. And by this, I mean the inner body plumb line, the central channel. So if when you come forward, you feel like the upper back is rounded like an armadillo, and then the chin has to push forward like a turtle, probably it's hard to sense the plumb line up into the upper chakras. So in that case, we'd want to support your hips and your head both more, so that when you're coming down to the support position, you don't have to sense your chakras are in a straight line, but I want you to sense that they have a kind of alignment within them, not a big disruption somewhere along the way. And then come back into this subtle sense of the Ujjayi breath with your focus at the upper back of the throat and the back part of your sinuses. Now walk your hands back towards your seat, press down, and please rise up to sitting. And then place your feet into Baddha Konasana. And for some of us, that means sitting up on more blankets, and for others, it means fewer blankets. In fact, it could be vice versa from what you were just doing. Like for this one, it's very helpful for me to sit up on a blanket. The other one, I hardly need it at all. You look up through your heart. And try to sense your plumb line as you're upright. And press the knees down, not with your hands, but with your outer hip muscles. And then please glide forward, whatever amount you can kind of sustain that, the elegance of your plumb line. And for those of you who can or want to, you can set up your blocks to be a little taller, perhaps, like for me, quite a bit taller on this one. Listen again to the sound of the breath, your eyes, your breath, and your mind all together in the upper back hollow of the throat. And then please rise up to sitting and fold your knees up to center. Now take the left leg under the right. So if you have a hip replacement, as I do, you're going to place your left ankle under your right ankle for this position. And you can always decide to do the next position too, even if you have a hip replacement. I'm just making my recommended protocol if you have a hip replacement. If you don't have a hip replacement, you can bring your knee to center here and step the other foot over. So the difficulty with a hip replacement, for those who don't know, is that placing the femur in flexion with adduction and any internal rotation to it is a risk for the apparatus. So that's why my recommendation, if you do have a hip replacement, is to change the pose so you haven't stepped over the midline. Okay, then for everyone, lift up through the inner body, rotate to your right. Let's raise the left arm and then cross over and twist to your right. And with the right knee against the left arm, you actually can press your knee against your arm for the support that doesn't let the knee cross the midline, for those who need to be thoughtful about that. But it's also helpful to press your knee back against your arm to give both the arm and the knee a little boost of leverage for your twist to be in your heart. Let's take one more breath in. And then exhale, come around to face forward. Let's change sides. So right leg out straight, left leg up, and then you're going to tuck the right foot under. You might sense that that runoff is happening down your right leg. Hopefully you sensed it. And then you're either going to cross the two ankles like this, or step your left foot over your right knee. Bring your right knee to center and step over. And raise up through your right arm. And then turning, hook your right elbow to the outside of your left knee and press them actively against each other as you twist to your left. So we have compressed now the hip joints, the knee joints. So that what we're doing at the moment, the pelvis, the spine, that gets the most of your circulation and your attention, except that you're also compressing the belly and the organs. So at the moment you have this compression in many areas of the body, including when you cross your right arm over your left knee and it closes the inside of the right shoulder joint. So let's take a deep breath in. And then exhale and come around to face forward into Dandasana. And see if you can sense the decompression that's happening. Let that also be decompression for your mind. And we're going to come to Shavasana this morning like this, which might seem unusual and may or may not be profound for some of you. I'm going to ask you to do a traditional Shavasana, which means you're lying on your back, and you need a block on each side of your mat. If you'd like to, you can cover with a blanket. So when you lie down, the purpose of the two blocks now, you're going to take the back of the wrist to elevate it on the block. And my intention here is that for those of you for whom when you lie in Shavasana, your shoulders don't drop back to the floor comfortably or completely. Sometimes it's a tightness from your shoulder down your arm, actually even in your forearm and your wrist. So we're just gently elevating the wrists and the hands to let the shoulders drop back. And you can close your eyes and listen inside to the decompression process that is happening. So continue to observe. Your body is decompressing at the same time. It's actually revitalizing. These processes are intertwined. Allow the process to continue. You sense both decompression and revitalizing. Allow the process on its own to continue, decompressing, revitalizing. They are interrelated. Imagine the pathways of energy flowing more freely in you from the decompression, and the freedom of that energy revitalizing even the smallest place in the body, the most distal place from the heart, perhaps even the pinky toes. And without moving the mind unnecessarily, just allow a slightly deeper breath in. Lift your palms and bring them one to the heart, one to the belly. Bend your knees and roll to your side. Press yourself back up to sitting. And take a seat for meditation. When you come to this seat for meditation, try to sense again the place between the eyebrows, up above the roof of the mouth, the pineal gland, and then the space between the eyebrows. You can bring your hands to your heart. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Oh. I imagine you guys can hear the purring through the microphone because it's a good microphone. Oh, yeah. Hi, honey. Yeah. You want to say hi to the people? Here. Now there's very bright light.